In the prior lecture, we stopped at the moment when Bepin Babu checked his right knee to check whether there was any wound mark or not. He did discover one. Then his mind got boggled what he was saying. One more statement of that man had come true. Now let's proceed with the next part of the story. Had he never had a fall as a boy and cut his knee? He tried to recall such an incident but couldn't. Sometimes in the childhood it does happen that you hurt yourself but you don't remember that particular scar relates to which wound. So he did not have any memory of his childhood when he had fallen and cut his knee. Then Bepin Babu suddenly thought of Dinesh Mukherjee. The man had said that Dinesh was in Ranchi at the same time. The best thing surely would be to ask him. He had lived quite near in Bepin Street. What about going right now? But then, if he had really never been to Ranchi, what would Dinesh think if Bepin Babu asked for a confirmation? He would probably conclude Bepin Babu was going nuts. No, it would be ridiculous to ask him. That stranger had said that at that same time when Bepin was there, over there in Ranchi, a man named Dinesh also was there. So he lived in the adjacent street, so he wanted to go and confirm with him. But he had again self-doubts. If he would just go randomly and ask him, was I to be there? Did I go to Ranchi in October 1958? So he would if he had not gone, this man would make an opinion of him, saying, have you gone mad? You yourself don't remember as to what has happened. And he knew how ruthless Dinesh's sarcasm could be. Certain people pass certain statements which rips your heart apart. Very sarcastic, very hitting kind of statements. So he knew that that guy was a sarcastic person and he did not want to take any kind of statement from him. Sipping a cold drink in his air-conditioned living room, Bepin Babu felt at ease again. Such a nuisance. Just because they have nothing else to do, they go about getting into other people's hair. Now, that man has figured off a situation in this man's mind. Now, he said that he's getting actually cranky over here. That certain people don't have any other work except for getting thoughts into the other person's brain. What nonsense, why am I going on thinking about it? After dinner, snuggling in bed with one of the new thrillers, Bepin Babu forgot all about the man in the new market. Once he was into books, he would forget the world. So for a moment at least, he forgot the stranger. Next day in the office, Bepin Babu noticed that with every passing hour, the previous day's encounter was occupying more and more of his mind. Now sometimes when you overthink about something, that thing continuously nags your mind. So that incident was so strong that it kept on recalling in his mind. If the man knew so much about Bepin Babu, how could he make such a mistake about the Ranchi trip? If that man knew such a lot about this man, how could he have said wrong that he was in Ranchi? Just before lunch, Bepin Babu decided to ring up Dinesh Mukherjee. It was better to settle the questions over the phone. At least the embarrassment on his face wouldn't show. So if you're on a phone call, at least your face doesn't show the expressions what you're going through. Even if that fellow would pass a sarcastic statement, at least even if you bite your purse your lips and all that, at least that anger wouldn't be shown on the phone. 235616 landline numbers, okay? Bepin Babu dialed the number. Hello, is that Dinesh? This is Bepin here. Well, what's the news? So this guy is asking, what is the news? How come you called me? I just wanted to find out if you recall an incident which took place in 58. So he's telling him, if you have recalled, if I'm asking you to say, please say, whatever I'm going to ask you, please confirm. 58? What incident? Were you in Calcutta right through that year? That's the first thing I've got to know. So he asked him, were you in Calcutta at that time in 58? Now he cannot ask directly whether you were in Ranchi in October 58. So this guy, he would if that stranger would be wrong, then this man would make a mockery of him. Wait just a minute, 58, just let me check in my diary. For a minute there was silence. Bipin Babu could feel that his heartbeat had gone up. He was sweating a little. Hello, yes, I've got it. I'd been out twice. Where? Once in February near to Krishna Nagar to a nephew's wedding, and then you'd know about this one, the trip to Ranchi. You were there too. That's all. But what's all this sleuthing about? So now this guy also confirms that once he'd been in February out to a place, and then second time in the month of October, I had been with you only. So why are you investigating so much about it? No, I just wanted to say anyway thanks. Like he is now spellbound, doesn't know what to say, utter a word. Bipin Babu slammed the receiver down. He just threw the receiver down and gripped his head in with his hands. He felt his head swimming. A chill seemed to spread over his body. There were sandwiches in his tiffin box, but he didn't eat them. He had lost all his appetite. Now that the friend also has confirmed that, darling, you were there when I was also there along with you. And he doesn't remember a bit of it, a second of it, a millisecond of it. Now his head has started spinning. After lunchtime, Bipin Babu realized that he couldn't possibly carry on sitting at his desk and working. In that kind of mindset, nobody could work. This had never happened in the 25 years he had been with the firm. He had a reputation for being a tireless, conscientious worker, but today his head was in a whirl. If you continuously work very well at a particular place and suddenly something different happens and then everybody starts judging you, you will feel bad. So all the thoughts were actually dancing around in his brain over here as to why am I not able to recall this particular incident. So he was not feeling well also. Back home at 2:30. So he came back from the office to home. Bipin Babu lay down in bed and tried to gather his wits together. So he was trying to take care of himself, but trying to forget or trying to recall, in fact, I would say. He knew that it was possible to lose one's memory through an injury in the head, but he didn't know of a single instance of someone remembering everything except one particular incident. As I had said earlier also, it's possible that you forget a very big chunk of your memory. But if I say only one part of your memory if you forgot it, that is too much to truly digest. And a fairly recent and significant one after all. So like he knows that it was important, that trip was important. How could you forget an important trip like that? He had always wanted to go to Ranchi. To have gone there, done things and not to remember was something utterly impossible. He had an urge in him that he has to go to Ranchi. Now that he has gone also, he has visited places also, he has spoken to people also, he has stayed at places also, now he doesn't remember about it. How is that even possible? At 7:30, Bipin Babu's servant came and announced, Chunni Babu, sir, says it's very important. Now comes a friend to visit him and his name is Chunni Babu. Chunni Babu, I would read test, Chunni would have a double N. Bipin Babu knew what Chunni had come for. Chunni Lal had been at school with him. Chunni had come for, he had been living a rough time lately and had been coming to see him about a job. So when friends are in need, they definitely approach another friend. So Chunni Lal wanted a job, so he was continuously approaching Bipin for it because he was going through a bad patch in his life. Bipin Babu knew it was not possible to do anything for him and in fact told him so. But Chunni kept turning up like a bad penny. What's a bad penny? Sometimes you come across a bad penny, kharab ho gaya, sikka, and then a note also. When you try to circulate it, it comes back to you only. So like he compares him to be the bad penny or to the bad penny over there. He would keep coming back with a hope in his heart that my friend would help me out. Bipin Babu sent word that not only was it not possible for him to see Chunni now, but now not in several weeks. So he told the helper, go tell him that not only can I see you now, I can't see you now also, and in several weeks coming up later also I can't meet you. But as soon as the servant stepped out of the room, it struck Bipin Babu that Chuni might remember something about the 58 trip. There was no harm in asking him. So he thinks, like, firstly he thinks let's avoid him. But then he gets an idea strikes his mind, saying that let me confirm with this guy also whether he remembers about Ranchi. Bipin Babu hurried down the stairs and into the living room. Chuni was about to leave, but seeing Bipin Babu appear, he turned round hopefully. So with great hopes in his eyes, he turns around and says, like, expectantly, that he might get a good news of he getting a job. Bipin Babu didn't beat about the bush, so he did not talk about matters of here and there of the world and all. He directly came to the point. Listen, Chuni, I want to ask you something. You have a good memory and you've been seeing me off and on for a long time. Just throw your mind back and tell me, did I go to Ranchi in 58? Chuni said, 58? It must have been 58 or it was 59. You're sure that I did go to Ranchi? Chuni's look of amazement was not unmixed with the worry. Now Chuni is like, why is this guy asking me such a question about himself? A few years back he had gone and he himself doesn't remember. So he was worrying also and he was a bit confused as well. Do you mean I have doubts about going at all? So like he continued, like this guy asked him, do you mean that you have doubts about going there at all? Did I go? Do you remember clearly? Chuni sat down on the sofa, fixed Bipin Babu with a long hard stare and said, Bipin, have you taken to drugs or something? So this guy is worried whether his friends is up to drugs or something, that you don't remember that you had been to Ranchi. As far as I know, you had a clean record where such things were concerned. I know that old friendships don't mean much to you, but at least you have a good memory. You can't really mean that you've forgotten about the Ranchi trip. So this guy confirms that yes, you have been to Ranchi. We'll stop over here. And let's, in the third lecture, I will finish off the chapter. And till then, if you want to read and know the suspense, you can. But little bit of explanation will be required as to what is the suspense about this episode being forgotten about by the old man. He's becoming old, but this is boggling his mind as to how is it possible that only one incident, one trip I have forgotten about, wherein there were no accidents, there were no ailments that he could have forgotten possibly about only one incident of his life. Thank you.